Isn't it great that we get a chance to focus on the Scriptures and use them as the foundation for our spiritual community here at Azusa Pacific University? I hope you've had a wonderful Christmas season and a great new year. And I hope now that as we lean into this new semester and this new year, that you are trusting God to shape your heart and your mind in all the things that you have before you. I often tell people that my burden is for the soul of the university. As chaplain here, I am always anxious to be able to speak into the life of this university community and centering it on Jesus Christ and centering us as a spiritual community. And I'm privileged to be able to meet with many of you and pray for many of you. I also know that some of you perhaps did not have such a good Christmas holiday or a New Year's, and you've been burdened with very, very weighty matters. And I want you to know that we want to be praying for you, and we want to walk with you through some of those trials and some of those difficulties, because we are a spiritual community. And yet, God has given us the privilege to walk with one another. And as I think about this spiritual community here at APU, as I think about this university system with nearly 3,000 people working at it and nearly 10,000 students, I realize that when Christ is in the middle of everything that we do, that is going to leak out in all of our work. And frankly, that's what I'm hoping we can accomplish, that we will begin to think about the Christ who is in us, finding expression in all of our action. You know that sometimes I've mentioned that this is a year when we are growing in our maturity as a spiritual community. Now, often that comes through traumatic experiences, but it doesn't always have to be. It comes through a greater understanding of our complete dependence upon Jesus Christ at the center of our lives, personally, and our community, corporately. So as we walk through this year, as we grow in our maturity as a spiritual environment, a spiritual community, my prayer is that Christ will become more and more real in you, so that as you become full of Jesus Christ, Christ will, in effect, leak out of your activities, will come out of you like sweat in the work that you do, in the sweat that we engage with, whether it's teaching or working on the grounds or in a staff position, behind a computer, wherever it is, that the nature of Christ will come out from within us, will leak out of us, will become the sweat of our labor. And that is what forges us as a Christian community of disciples and scholars advancing the work of God in the world. That's the first half of our mission statement. Now, you also know that we've been focusing on a university passage all of this year, and every month I send you these videos as an effort to help us center in on those. Well, this year the passages that we're focused on, the one in the New Testament, Mark 12, has to do with this very thing of being completely absorbed by Jesus Christ, completely focused, or as some may say, being all in terms of our love for Christ and our commitment to the work of God. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, your emotions, your feelings. Love the Lord your God with all your mind, the cognition, the intellect, your thinking, the curiosity that drives us to learn and to teach and to form. Love the Lord your God with all your soul. The place, the seat of the will, where things come into convergence and we choose, we make daily choices about what we want to do, how we want to spend our time, even regarding our own vocation. Love the Lord your God with your will, with your choices, with your soul. And love the Lord your God with all your strength, the physicality, your body, how you treat yourself, how you behave, how you take care of yourself. You see, the passage itself is about us being completely, fully, and totally committed to Jesus Christ and focusing our love toward God. That's called a love that is being perfected. Not that it achieves a certain standard, but that it is completely and totally directed toward God. But Jesus says that the second command is just like it. Not only love God with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength, but loving our neighbor as ourselves. You see, when we are in complete focus of our love toward God with all of the dimensions of our lives, now all of a sudden the natural consequence of that is going to be that we are going to love one another, that we are going to see one another with the dignity with which God has created us, that we are going to see in one another the image of God, and we are going to recognize in each other that we all walk with a limp, that we all exist in a broken condition, that we all live under the compensatory grace of God that makes us whole in spite of our infirmities. That's the hopeful message that is centering us as a Christian community. And my passion for you, my passion for this community is that we will be so in love with God, and we will allow that love to leak out of us as we love one another, that when people hear about this community, they will say, there is a community that is centered on Jesus Christ, a truly spiritual community engaged in the academic enterprise of transforming the lives of students to go and make a difference in the world. As we lean into this new year of 2016, I pray that God will bless you richly. I know that it's not going to all be a panacea, and I know there are going to be burdens, there are going to be tough times, there are going to be broken hearts, there are going to be strained relationships, and yet I pray that as we center in on Jesus Christ, loving God with all of who we are, and then loving our neighbor as ourselves, that Christ will be glorified, and the mission that God has called this university to fulfill will be realized in ways that we never expected through your life individually, through your department, and through us collectively as a university. I thank God for the privilege that we have of being that kind of community. Immerse yourself in this university passage and let God form you as you lean into this new year, and may God bless you richly.